we start the podcast with that?
And we're off.
Typical LA driving here.
Yeah. So, welcome back to the Out of Spec podcast. We are in a car, a moving car.
We're in the practically palatial halls of the Out of Spec mobile studio.
Yes. And we are in Los Angeles, California. And we're here for the LA Auto Show.
For legal reasons, we have no front-facing camera.
Okay, I can drive normally now.
Kyle, tell us a little bit about what you're behind the wheel of.
Nothing our audience would care about. M3 with a manual transmission. It's the G80 new one.
It's true. It's not an EV. If you can hear any background noise, you'd probably have a bit of an idea about that. But we come to the auto show every year, right? I mean, and see what's happening. The auto show has gotten a little bit cooler and cooler as the years have gone on. There's a lot also, while there's presence of EVs, less and less presence of EV charge point operators. I think the only one this year was EVgo, but we have seen a lot. It's interesting to see what the automakers are doing, who's present, and also get in touch with other media. So what did y'all think about this year's auto show? We went to the media day, which is the first day just for media and industry, and now it's open to the public. But yeah, first impressions, what do y'all think?
This year. What do you think, Coleton?
I don't know. This was my first big auto show, I guess.
First ever big auto show?
So I've been to Denver, which is kind of
Yeah.
So this was got to go to the LA Auto Show.
Okay.
Yeah, cool, but it felt very small. Surprised to see how many manufacturers actually weren't there, which I think, as we talked about, a lot of people are doing their own press releases, separate from big auto shows. So yeah, it was interesting. Some cool stuff, of course.
Right. I think we've seen automakers drop out year after year. So, who we did have there was Toyota, Nissan, Lucid, Kia, keep naming them.
Yeah, Lexus,
Ford.
Toyota, Hyundai,
Volkswagen.
Ford had a huge thing. Volkswagen had a lot.
Cadillac had a little thing
Chevy.
Yeah.
that actually wasn't, I don't think, put on by Cadillac directly, more of their
really?
media group.
Sometimes there's also little dealerships that bring in their stuff. There's a couple of collections, like the Kevin Hart collection. There's a variety of things, but I guess I've seen, I've only been to 2 now, but 2 years ago it wasn't as awesome either, and I think it's partially post-COVID. It's just kind of it hasn't died yet, but it's definitely taken a step back, because I think some manufacturers realize they get more individual specialized coverage of just having their own events. So,
as an example, you just were at Polestar
Day last week, and that was going all out. That was probably more than their budget would be for the LA Auto Show, but huge day, focused on them, epic presentations. They didn't have to squeeze everything into a 30-minute press conference, which most car companies do with the LA Auto Show. They get one little press conference. Some of them use that to unveil a car. For example, we saw the Lucid Gravity unveiled. We'll have a whole another video on that, and multiple videos, because that's a big deal. But that was probably I think that was the biggest deal at this whole auto show. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
I would agree. For us,
yeah.
Ioniq 5N, maybe US debut of that car.
Yeah, Ioniq 5N, Kia or Hyundai Santa Fe. That's yeah. But it's some big displays. Subaru always has a huge display and never really seemed to do that much. I guess when they had the Solterra, that was the biggest deal for the EV enthusiasts. But
I don't know. Auto shows just really aren't my thing in general. It's great to see other media, but we see them at first drives all the time. It's great to see the cars in one place. So for quick content capture, for cars that are either just coming out, or cars that we hadn't been able to film yet, or cars that we hadn't been able to get all the coverage of that we wanted yet, we can just basically run in there, shoot everything. For example, we've seen the Blazer EV, we've seen the ZDX, we've seen the Lyric, but now they're actually all in the same building, so we can run and do a comparison of Lyric, ZDX, Prologue, and Blazer, which are all the same platform underneath, and make a comparison video as to which one to buy.
I think that's one thing, is that if you have something like the Polestar Day, you can just be immersed in Polestar land, really getting an idea of that brand and their offerings. But like you said, Kyle, this is somewhere where you can have immediate comparisons running around and everything. And I want to hear from Coleton, who also, listeners, if you don't know, Coleton runs the Out of Spec detailing channel, and Coleton has an eye for details for sure, and has a lot of customers that come through, and you do, a really specific job for the team. So Your first LA Auto Show, your first big auto show, what do you think as a newcomer?
Before you answer that, the BMW navigation system in this car is not factoring traffic.
No, not at all.
It thinks
Right.
it's only going to take us 17
minutes when we're actually making this podcast because it's going to take us about an hour to get 13 miles in LA. So
Is there a way to turn traffic, configure services, agree and activate all? Oh, maybe it's like not logged
Not
in.
available.
And so for privacy reasons, they don't want to tell us the traffic that we're stuck in.
Wow.
Hmm.
Sometimes these Germans are, I don't know if that's true or not, but
So if
either way, it's not showing us traffic,
Not
which
an
like shouldn't be a
accurate ETA.
privacy thing. It should just know.
We'd rather be in traffic in an EV right now, though. That's 3 pedals, Kyle. Man.
I mean, honestly, for me, I love manual transmissions so much, especially in a sporty car, and I don't mind
Deal with
driving
it.
in traffic
Yep.
in a manual. Yeah.
That's why you're driving. Anyways, Colton, yeah, how's your impressions?
Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, for me, it's always hard to walk around these shows and look at how scratched all the cars are and everything. It's just like, it just makes me cringe. But, I mean, there was some really cool stuff. I think, obviously, my highlight, of course, was Lucid Gravity. I think kind of stole the show, in my opinion. There was some other cool stuff that I hadn't really been up close to. Cadillac Lyric was interesting to get in, kind of touch, feel all the materials. Not
Charge
super
port.
impressed. Yeah, the charge port. This was like the craziest charge port of any sort of LA Auto Show ever.
So all of the cars, like all of the GM what are we trying to say? There was a big kerfuffle around the ID Buzz charge port
Yes.
situation, which I didn't know about. I posted on Twitter how the charge port thing works. Apparently after, I don't really know who, but I think Ryan from the Kilowatts, one of our friends, and some other people were showing how it didn't open when the sliding door was open. But there's a lockout mechanism, and it's also like the Honda Odyssey's fuel door is right there as well. You can't open the door when the fuel door is
Right.
open. So, I don't know, you can still open the door when the flaps open and charge, which I think is pretty reasonable.
I would agree.
Yeah, the door just won't, the flap won't open if the door is already open. So there's an order of operations. And so everyone is pointing out the incorrect order.
Right, which is open the flap and then get out of the car.
Yep.
Which you can't do. But that's only for the backseat passenger.
right.
I think it's going to be a non-issue.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So Colton, back to you again. So
No, we're talking about charge ports.
well, this is.
We're
I'm
talking
going
about
back-
his Lyric charge port
Yeah.
saga.
Yes, of course. And so, I mean, you have the eye for detail. So you're walking around, there's all these cars on display, and then you're seeing little or not so little discrepancies in their appearance. So it makes me wonder about automakers and the thought, I mean, first off, their motivations for being at the show or not being at the show, but then also which cars they put on display and how. I mean, do you think it's really that detrimental that a car is put on display here? Like, I got in one that was missing the knobs for the
Yeah.
buttons.
Oh, those are on purpose so people don't steal them.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
still, my experience in the car, I'm like, yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me think, oh, this is on purpose.
Yeah, I personally think anytime you have a vehicle in front of media, and then obviously LA Auto Show is open to the public, it should be the best example of a vehicle you could have. Now, a lot of times these being pre-production vehicles, pretty hard to do, but also the cars get destroyed there. Like
yeah.
just people getting in and out of them, like just tearing these things apart. It was really interesting. We'll talk about it more in the Lucid Gravity video, I would assume, but how they would let someone touch a vehicle and not let another person touch it. You can get in, sir,
Okay,
but you
we
can't.
have to talk
Yeah.
about the Lucid
It was
thing.
weird.
That was weird.
So-
but no one else was like that.
The only other one was Chevy.
Oh,
I went up to the new Silverado EV.
the
Mhm.
RST, the black one?
Yes.
I filmed that exact truck previously.
So I went to walk up to it, and the
Yeah.
lady goes, "Oh no, you can't come in here." And then she looks at my badge, goes, "Oh, you're media, you're fine."
Yeah.
It was
So,
on
It's
media
like, okay,
day.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I was confused about. So I don't know. Interesting stuff like that. It was weird.
whenever you're in a situation at an auto show, just do what Jordan does.
how media.
You just say media, and then they let you do anything.
It's okay, I'm media. Oh, sure,
Yeah.
sorry.
I tried that last time I got pulled over.
Yeah. So I mean, overall, I thought it was a neat show. I definitely expected it to be bigger and more cars.
Yeah, this show is the smallest I've ever seen. Mach-E taxi
Nice.
with a giant, taxi thing on the roof. That can't be
Yeah.
good for range.
So the show runs for 2 weeks. It's open to the public starting today. I guess it's something fun to do with the family. Big old question mark there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What's the public that's going? It's just like either people who are enthusiasts looking at the cool things, people in the market for a car looking to cross compare, even though you can't usually drive things. Some things you can, like actually, believe it or not, Tesla has a huge driving thing this year for the public.
They had like 20 cars.
Yeah, all different models and types, so people can try those out in downtown traffic. And then they have the EV track experience, which is very misleading title.
Right. They're very small experiential possibilities, right? I mean, it's very, if you get in these, any car that they have there.
Well, if you're cross shopping an Aria and what was it, an ID4, and you're looking at how it performs at 10 miles an hour, it's perfect.
Yep, it's perfect.
Well, it's representative of what LA driving is like.
I'm obviously a little bit biased here because I think EVs are awesome and we're moving that direction. But first off, the auto show, there weren't many unveilings or anything. But I'm kind of tired of ICE vehicles being unveiled. I would rather see an EV from every company.
Like we sat and watched the Hyundai Santa Fe unveiling.
That you can buy on Amazon.
Right. That you can buy on Amazon now, which is like, okay, great. Alexa's
They're really trying
everywhere.
to get people to buy these cars.
Right.
So
I mean,
strange.
what do y'all think about that idea? I mean, I just feel like we've done the ICE cars.
We're in a unique place because we pretty much focus on EVs, and our audience is really focused on EVs. So we sometimes
we
forget,
live in a bubble.
We forget outside the bubble, whereas a lot of people are so slow, and part of that's just the problem of exposure. People are not actually driving EVs, so they're intimidated, or they don't want to get into it, or they're offended by the idea and just like want to stick with ICE for as long as possible. So those people are actually probably really excited for new ICE vehicles because they're like, oh great, they're not dead yet. But I think we are for sure in that shifting point where we're starting to see a lot more EVs, a lot more plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. Like hybridization is really taking over right now, and Toyota's very leaning heavily on that. They did have a BZ4X on display for some reason. We've seen quite a few around here in LA for some reason.
Yeah, people are buying BZ4Xs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest shock of this trip, is we've seen like a lot of them.
Yeah. I like how that's like objectively better than a RAV4 electric that we saw from 2011, but we're still way more excited than the RAV4.
Yes.
So I don't know. We are in that bubble, but it is interesting every time. I mean, I would not want to be PR for a brand trying to unveil a new internal combustion engine car that is basically no different than the last one. That would be a tough challenge.
But the new Hyundai Santa Fe is very different than the last one.
It does look a lot better.
The last one sucked. This one rocks.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
They're leaning into the
last one I just had as a press car, and it literally made me angry to get inside the car. I gave it to Andrew as soon as because Andrew, you got to drive this thing. I'm not driving around this. It was really bad.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's fine.
It's fine. Y'all are fine with it.
Yeah, I think we need more combustion cars and more. I think, again, in our bubble, our audience won't agree. I mean, yeah, we cover electrics. Electrics, our world, our future. I'm not seeing any electric cars right now, and we're in LA.
Well, there's Tesla.
Oh, there's Tesla.
And another Tesla.
All
Teslas.
I mean,
to be fair, I didn't see any Tesla until this one. But, there's still a huge combustion market. We still have not figured out fast charging. It's very early days, and I kind of like the idea of a range extended EV like Volt or like this Ram charger thing.
Yeah, that was not here, obviously, because of this. Yep.
Well, so that's the other thing is this auto show. The last few ones were affected by COVID. This one was somewhat affected by the UAW strikes. Like, there's a lot of things that have gone against just the huge budget it takes to put on an impressive display. And if you show up without an impressive display, people are like, "Well, that sucks." And so it's almost like better to not go at all.
Yeah, totally.
So I don't know. It is fun. I think the most fun.
Are any of the German automakers here?
No.
Just Volkswagen.
Just Volkswagen.
That was it.
No Volvo, which I was kind of anxious to check those out.
Yeah.
There is an EX30 here.
Yes.
Randomly. Yep.
It was at the World Car of the Year award show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear your argument there. I just think that EVs are cooler in general. And so what we did see is obviously the unveil of the Lucid Gravity. So that was I don't know, people were excited in the crowd. We had clapping, people were oohing and aahing. So people were ready for this unveil from Lucid, but tell me a little bit about it, Kyle. I know you and the team got to actually get inside, which they were really, at first they were pretty protective of the Gravity. They were just saying, walk around it, but you got a full tour and you have a video out on Out of Spec Reviews now. So are you impressed? I know we won't see it actually on the roads for a while, but tell me about it.
Yeah, well, we're going to do a whole podcast on Gravity alone, but no question. I don't know if it's just because it's us and people know we're the EV group, but there was so many people just talking to us about that car. That's the only. Everyone was like, "Oh, what do you think of the Gravity?" That was the thing.
Yeah.
No one asked about any other car that was there. Not one person asked us, "What do you think of the Santa Fe?" Which I was kind of hoping they would, because I thought that's great.
I have opinions,
Yeah, I was like, I like that one too. I mean, for me, I'm not just an EV guy. I'm the oddball out, but. I think the Gravity stole the show, and for a small startup automaker like that to take over the entire show is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, they had like one of the biggest booths, which is crazy given that they're such a small company.
Yes,
and that puts a huge effect into the public perception. So the public goes to the show who don't really know the size of companies, honestly. A lot of people think Honda is the same size as Toyota, and it's just not true. But Lucid is making a huge splash. I think that's what this will do for the public. The fact that they unveiled it at this huge show, there's a lot of people that attended over the next 10 days. And Gravity is intriguing. I didn't love the Air. I think it's good, but my issues with it seem to be fixed by the Gravity.
Yeah, same here.
And so I can't wait to drive and experience that and road trip it and car camp in it and do everything with that car.
Fun. Yeah, we'll have a lot, like Kyle said, a podcast all about the Gravity. But yeah, also the show in general in terms of the EV space.
There was a shot up Tesla.
Yes.
We did see a Tesla.
There was a shot up Tesla.
Armored.
Yeah,
armored Tesla.
I was walking down the hallway last night when we were leaving, and I was like, "Is this thing got a bullet hole in it?" And yes. And then I round the side, and it's freaking shot up down the side. Yeah. So we got to do a video with those guys.
Heck
yeah. It's on display there too.
Okay.
Now, I guess I heard a guy talking on the phone about it when we passed. So. Yes, of course, we have the armored Tesla, and then also the only charge point operator there, anything about charging, right, was EVgo. They have their whole big old
Volta.
booth. Volta was there?
Volta sponsored all of the display signs for the show.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah.
And Witricity with their wireless charging.
That's right, Witricity and Webasto with their home charging products.
There's a couple small companies, that I was I was almost more intrigued by the super small displays, like the Pebble Camper.
Yes.
Okay, can we talk about the Pebble Camper for just a second, then we'll get back to charging, Francie? Yeah. Is that okay?
Of course. Please tell me what you think about the Pebble.
I feel like
Kyle.
Francie's trying to pull a Dom and put structure to this podcast.
Well, we've got to follow some train of thought.
No.
No, anyways.
Okay, the Pebble is just a carbon copy of the Lightship.
But shrunk.
It's not that much smaller.
It's quite smaller.
Really?
Yes.
I think it feels more cozy than the Lightship.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. Definitely not bigger. Yeah, it's smaller for sure.
Smaller, but it's your little remote controlled.
It's got a little
RV.
Pushes itself around.
Right. So hopefully we can dive into the Pebble more in depth on another podcast. But
is that a real thing, or did they just spend money to get investors?
I don't know. I mean, we didn't go to the press
conference,
have like a
so
we didn't get all the details.
They had 10 people working for them. Some of them are viewers and probably listening to this. But I don't know if they're legit or if they're just if that's like a money-making scheme.
It's hard to tell anymore.
We've been burned so many times.
Yeah, reach out. We can talk about Pebble on the pod.
Tell us if you're legit or not.
Pebblecast, yep.
I mean, it's a cool idea.
I'm just so skeptical with anything like that.
Sure.
So, yeah, we really need to talk to them. Because with the Lightship thing, we keep seeing them in every show. I've even let them use my truck for shows. But then when I went to go film it, they're like, "Oh no, you're not. We can't let Out of Spec film this. We're not ready to talk about the details."
Pebble seemed more ready for us to film and look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And
they did one a full tour.
Yeah,
okay, so we should do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm intrigued by them for sure, and I think that's a unique solution. I mean, we have some manufacturers working on this, like Polestar included, this vehicle to grid, home storage solution beyond just a static battery.
What's Polestar doing?
Polestar is working on vehicle to grid for, I don't know which model they'll debut it with, and they're supposedly testing it for like another year.
Oh, really?
But yeah, they're going to be having bi-directional charging and the capability to have your car be your home battery, basically.
Are they going to have
Right.
AC out or DC out?
I think AC.
And then you'll have to buy an inverter,
Yeah, which they will sell you.
which will be expensive. I just want to see a car do like what Lucid does, which is use a Wonder Box or something that's baked into the cost of the car
Mm-hmm.
to output the power to match your frequency and voltage and everything at your home, and then you just plug it in the wall.
So I don't know. We'll see. But that's
Sorry to sidetrack you. I
No,
just hadn't heard about that.
that's another use for, because these campers, like the Lightship and all of them, that's one of their business models for
Mhm.
every camper that gets unveiled that's electric.
Yeah, why not?
They're trying to use that as a selling point because they are more expensive than a normal non-electric camper. They're not ice campers; it's just dummy campers.
Mhm.
But this way they can sell it as like, hey, this can be battery storage while it's sitting for most of the year when you're not using it,
Mm-hmm.
because most people don't use them for very much of the year.
Right, which is a big sell in that space in terms of everything, going V to G, which is like, these are just big batteries on wheels that sit 90% of the time.
Colton, your ID4 has a tow hitch.
Yes, it does.
Would you ever tow one of those things around?
Probably not.
Okay.
I would not want to deal with EA and the terrible
Oh my
range
gosh.
of that car.
Yeah.
So, I do want to bring up
Yeah.
one of the most important unveilings that we saw here.
Oh,
You guys remember?
I know
Oh,
what
I
you're
know.
I
Wait,
know
let
what
me
you're
guess the
going to
name.
do.
Let me guess the name.
No, I know what it is.
I'm trying to think of the name.
What are you
It
talking
was-
about?
Starts with an N.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Nissan pajamas.
Nismo
Oh,
pajamas.
I was thinking of that weird Cybertruck knockoff
No.
thing.
Oh,
Oh,
that's the
okay.
Tech AI.
Yeah,
AI
was
Tech
funny.
X.
AI Tech X.
No, but
yes.
most importantly, back to the
So Nissan had a whole.
genuine
Yeah, go ahead.
genuine
Francie. I didn't hear
reveal
you, sorry.
of the pajamas.
You guys in the mics will be able to hear her perfectly fine. I actually can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Nissan had this massive booth here. Massive. Didn't bring anything new except for they unveiled pajamas.
Yes.
And
Which
it's
we're
like
sitting next to the GTR and the Z, because that's the target
Yeah.
market. They're Nismo pajamas.
just strange stuff.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, and they had a Leaf with Thrill Street on a sign.
Yes.
next
Oh
to
my
it.
goodness.
So
it was just absolutely thrilling. I'd say top to bottom from Nissan.
No automaker wants to talk about NACS.
No.
No.
But EVgo did have NACS on their dummy charger.
NACS on NACS on NACS.
NACS on NACS, and we actually have an interview coming from them from Katie Wallace, their director of communications, and Jeremy Whaling, who is a senior EVSE engineer at EVgo, and they were really great. We dove into that, their plans with NACS, their hardware, how they're building out their network, etc., etc. So definitely tune in for that. But yeah, they had a dummy charger. It was like obviously pre-prototype there on the scene. It wasn't. I mean, it wouldn't. It's not plugged into a cabinet or anything. But I mean, they do have NACS there, so they're very clearly
Weird
putting it out there.
cable, weird connector.
Yeah,
Don't think I liked it.
I'll let you see. I'll let you.
What did you think, Colton?
Yeah, it was weird. And I don't remember who brought it up, but like putting the port up.
Yeah, they got to
into
work on the
machine,
cable management.
Like, what
Yeah.
the heck is going on there?
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, they did emphasize pre, but they did put it on display. So that's one thing.
Yeah,
it's
they're
like,
committed. That's what that message
Which
is.
is good.
Yes.
It's not saying
Which is-
it's going to be like this.
No, and
thank goodness.
Yes, no, it's definitely. I think they're going to do a better job there, but they're really. I mean, they're busy over there, and they're going to char into the Testival, which I really don't like that name. And then, but they're going to be. Jeremy didn't go into details or anything, but he's like, "Yeah, we're testing fun things there, and hopefully we'll be there and be able to see that." But
Yeah, we'll be at Charin.
great, and it was great speaking to them either way. I do love the people at the EVgo booth, but also great to dive into that publicly, because sometimes the charge point operators keep it close to their chest. They don't always speak super openly.
Oh, Electrify America is what you're referring to?
No comment.
We did
Kyle.
see Octavio, who's Electrify America Communications,
Mm-hmm.
and
but no
he's
booth like they did 2 years ago.
No,
booth.
no
They don't
booth.
really need a booth. They had a couple displays on it, Volkswagen and some other stuff.
But
I mean,
EVgo
the
did
people are not the issue. That's the thing. The people are great.
say, "Oh yeah, we love people."
And across all of the networks, it's the hardware, software, and
Mhm.
maintenance that sucks.
So yeah, definitely putting into like real solid processes and testing, and really defining how your company is going to go about improving your offering just tremendously is key. And actually hearing solid plans for how these charge point operators are going forward with that was, I mean, that's where I'm like, okay, yeah, come on, let's come along. So it was really great to dive into that with EVgo. And yeah, in general, they say that they really use their booth to educate the public too. And that's what they have there. It's like right at the entrance, and people come up, they're like, I have an EV, or I want an EV, or how do I charge an EVgo, and everything. And it really gives them an opportunity to do some EV 101 with people throughout the 2-week LA Auto Show opportunity. So
It's 2 weeks?
it's 2 weeks. It's over Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah,
So,
and
and I think that's a great point. Is like we, as the media day, didn't see many people going to that booth, but that's
Well, everyone should understand that.
yeah. These are all media who are like, I know what charging is. Well, hopefully most of them do. But the public days, which will be interesting, we're going to go check out a public day as well. I wonder what the striation will be of where the people go, because the media days, we're all highly focused on a brand new unveil, and that's about it.
I just love that the person they staffed on Media Day from Nissan, she was great, but she was representing the Aria at EVgo's booth, which means you should probably know about the car and how it charges.
yes.
And she thought CCS was the new best thing, because that's what the Aria just got. She's like, look, and we just got CCS.
Oh, from Shadow Mode to
Yeah.
CCS.
So all the jokes about Internet
dear.
Explorer, like that's like
Yeah.
Nissan.
Wow.
So I had to explain to her that no, NAX is the new thing, and you've already committed. She goes, "What's that?" That's the Tesla plug.
Oh,
So
dear.
she's like, "Oh, we're doing that. Okay, good to know. Good to know."
I mean, that's also a theme throughout this industry, is that representatives are put out there and they don't have all the information. And it's not just only representatives, but I think it's really important that leadership have the technical expertise
Mhm.
everywhere. But yeah, I guess that's
Oh,
a big
they're busy
undertaking. Everyone needs to go to EV 101. But yeah, so if you're listening in and you do go to the LA Auto Show, I mean, let us know what really draws you there. Some people, I bet, go every year, and it's really fun.
The
So
gravity draws you.
The gravity is drawing
Pulling
all
you
of
in.
them
yes, it's a massive
The show's worth
pull.
going to if you have a
Totally
free.
agree.
You don't even need a full day. Just take 5 hours, whatever,
Yeah.
4 hours.
Walk around,
See all
get
the new
food.
stuff.
Yeah.
They were 3D printing cookies with photos of yourself that you could eat.
There's
Yes.
the mystery van from Scooby-Doo is there.
Oh yeah, a lot of Fast and Furious cars were there.
Yeah.
Pagani Huayra, like interesting little things here and there.
Yeah, so I think it's a fun event. I really liked going with everyone. And by the way, if you're listening in, we've got Francie, Kyle, Coleton, and Jordan here, which we didn't say in the beginning, but you're getting it here at the end. So yeah, I mean,
It's the opposite of an introduction. Introduction.
Introduction.
It was fun hanging out with y'all and getting to explore it as a team. And hopefully when we go tomorrow, we'll see some listeners or viewers. And yeah, again, let us know if you go or if you don't go, or if you'd like to go. Or maybe there's other auto shows that you go to. I don't know, maybe you're more of an antique roadshow kind of person. Is that cars? Antique roadshow?
I know.
So it's just antique furniture.
I like the antique car show.
I spaced out. I'm sorry. It's been a long day.
Yeah, anyone else? Any last thoughts about
We've
the
been
LA
driving
Auto Show?
the Audi SQ8 e-tron today,
That's true.
but I don't know if we want to talk about
No,
that.
it has nothing to do with the LA Auto Show.
Okay.
So, but we
But
have
they weren't there because they have other things going on, so there was no
Right.
Audi at the yeah, they do. They're doing their own things, and yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm curious what everyone else thinks of that. Like, would you rather see them all at one auto show or separate?
Mhm.
Or do you not even really care because you're reading the news regardless? You probably don't, but
Right.
opinions are opinions.
Yeah. We love opinions.
Yep. Fill the comments. We'll see you down there.
Yeah. So thanks again for tuning into the Out of Spec podcast. We will see you next time. Have a great day.